Hello there.
Won't stop.
Won't start.
Start.
Won't start.
Start.
Start. Start. Start.
Stop.
War. Start.
Stop.
War.
Stop.
Start.
War.
Start war. War. Start. War. Start. War. Start.
War.
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 Start. Start. War. 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 War.
War.
War. Start. War. 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 Start. War. Start. War. Start.
Start. Start.
Start. War.
Start.
War. Start.
Wars.
Start. Start. Start.
Start.
Start.
War.
Start.
War. War. Start. Start.
War. War.
Start. 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 War. War. Start. 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 War. Start. 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 War. Start. Start.
Start.
Start. Start. War. Start.
Start. Start.
Start. Start. Start.
War.
Start. 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 War. Start. Start.
What I remember about the rise of the Empire is how quiet it was. During the waning hours of the Clone Wars, the 501st Legion was discreetly transferred back to Coruscant. It was a silent trip.
Save it for the enemy!
We all knew what was about to happen, what we're about to do.
Knock it off!
Did we have any doubts? Any private, traitorous thoughts? Perhaps, but no one said a word. Not on the flight to Coruscant, not when Order 66 came down, and not when we marched into the Jedi Temple. Not a word.
I don't know. Call me crazy, but I don't think they deserve to have their bright future ruined by a momentary, minute, never to be repeated lapse of judgment.
Master Skywalker, there are too many of them. What are we going to do?
Hello, Star Wars fans, and welcome back to Jedi Business. We just got some news in that we already kind of knew, a lot of us knew this already, that Star Wars at the hands of Disney has kind of failed for the most part. I mean, they haven't made their investment back. It was a $4 billion investment that they made on this, and you'll see in a minute, according to financial analysts, that they have not made that profit back. This article comes to us from Forbes, which used to take Disney's side a lot of times on the, when it came to PR and financial analysis, things like that, reviews on their movies and shows. They've kind of turned on Disney, and it's fascinating to see. This comes from a writer called Carolyn Reed, senior contributor to Forbes. Disney Star Wars box office profits failed to cover cost of buying Lucasfilm. Box office profits generated by Disney's Star Wars movies have fallen $2.8 billion short of covering the media giant's purchase of the sci-fi saga's creator, Lucasfilm, according to analysis of recently filed financial statements. Disney bought Lucasfilm for $4 billion in 2012 and soon gave the green light to a new trilogy of Star Wars movies which teamed up rising stars Daisy Ridley and John Boyega. I would throw Adam Driver in there. He's more of a star than they are. With Mark Hamill, Harrison Ford, and the late Carrie Fisher, who headlined the original movies more than 30 years earlier. All the stars aligned when The Force Awakens, the first film in the new series, was released in 2015. According to industry analyst Box Office Mojo, it grossed a staggering $2.1 billion, causing Disney to commission 2 spin-off movies as well as the 2 sequels that were already planned. You'll see how much the movie cost in a minute. The $2.1 billion, they didn't, that wasn't the profit. That's just how much it grossed, according to Disney and Box Office Mojo. However, as the series continued, there was a disturbance in the Force due to an over-reliance on computer-generated effects and a lack of the gritty, quirky characters who made the original movie smash hits. It's funny to hear them say that because a lot of the complaints of the prequels were there was an over reliance on computer generated effects, and then J.J. Abrams, in order to try to get goodwill with the fans, you know, made a big deal out of there being more practical effects in his movie than there were in the prequels. But as they went on, I think they started to get lazy. Of course, if they had paid more attention to the storytelling and not so much to the effects, they might have got a better product out of it. In 2019, The Rise of Skywalker, the third installment in the new trilogy, hauled in around half as much at the box office as The Force Awakens, though the series soon had a renaissance. Just a few weeks before the first case of COVID-19 was discovered in 2019 December, Disney debuted its first Star Wars streaming series, The Mandalorian. It was an instant success. Somebody needed to proofread this. Thanks to the unlikely pairing of its protagonists. The series is named after a gruff, armor-clad bounty hunter, a proto-Boba Fett, played by Pedro Pascal, who is tasked with tracking down the family of a pointy-eared green alien called Grogu. Photos of the cute character went viral because of its resemblance to beloved Star Wars sage Yoda. The timing couldn't have been better, as it thrust The Mandalorian into the spotlight just as the world went into lockdown. Yeah, without that little green dude, this show probably wouldn't have been as big of a hit as it was. Of course, a lot of people were hoping for just a bounty hunter's adventures, finding bounties, skirting the underworld. That's what we were thinking that we would get, and we got something a little different. Viewers were stuck indoors for the majority of the following year, leading to a surge in subscriptions to the Disney Plus streaming platform. Yeah, funny how that worked out. The Mandalorian was watched more than any other show, and according to Nielsen, any other show on Disney Plus, and according to Nielsen, it racked up 5.4 billion minutes of viewing time during its second week run, peaking at 1.2 billion during the week its finale aired. It didn't just appeal to fans, but critics too. Audiences awarded The Mandalorian a 92% rating on review aggregator Rotten Tomatoes, whilst critics went even further with a score of 93 point. That's way too high for that show. I liked it, but I wouldn't say it's the best written show we've ever gotten from, especially not from Lucasfilm. Andor is way better than this show, like way better written. That's just with the first season. In fact, the industry liked it so much that it was nominated for 6 Primetime Emmy Awards and 42 Primetime Creative Arts Emmy Awards, winning in 15 categories. It's probably the technical categories. So unsurprisingly, it was renewed for 2 further seasons and even spawned its own spin-off series, The Book of Boba Fett. So they admit that The Book of Boba Fett was just meant to springboard another season of Mandalorian. Because literally nothing happened in that show except that Mandalorian and Grogu got back together. And Cad Bane may or may not have gotten killed. That's about it. Which premiered in December 2021. The only reason that a 4th season of The Mandalorian hasn't gone into production is that a movie based on its 2 stars is due to be released in 2026. It doesn't stop there. The show's success spurred the development of a suite of new Star Wars productions. Since it debuted, 3 other streaming shows have been released, and 3 more movies are in development in addition to The Mandalorian and Grogu. Yeah, we'll see if those ever come out. The declining interest in Disney's initial trilogy of movies seems like a distant memory, and the mouse has made the most of it. Have they? I still see those videos from, what's his name? It's not Red Letter Media. Shoot, I forget. But he goes to these Ollie's and other discount stores and looks to see what kind of merchandise is sitting there routing on shelves. A lot of it's Disney stuff. A lot of Marvel characters and Disney Star Wars characters are sitting there on the shelf still in the discount stores. Not a whole lot of original trilogy characters. Last month, Disney released a 67-page presentation singing the praises of its chief executive, Bob Iger, in a bid to convince stockholders to side with him in a battle with activist investors. Yeah, and I don't know if this article mentions it, but George Lucas sided with him too. Of course, he's got a lot of stock in Disney still. So, of course, he's got a dog in this race, a horse in this race. One of its key boasts was about the supposedly spellbinding return on investment generated by the franchises that Disney acquired under Iger. I don't see there being a huge return on investment, especially with Pixar and I mean, at first Pixar was doing great, but now they've kind of gone in the toilet. Marvel too. The presentation gives the impression that Disney's Star Wars trilogy generated a 2.9 times return on the purchase of Lucasfilm, as that figure is presented next to a timeline of key events in the production company's history. They include the release of the Disney movies and its acquisition of Lucasfilm, which is the only milestone marked with a star. Adding to this impression is the fact that at the other end of the timeline is the Star Wars logo and a photo of the Mandalorian with his little green friend. However, buried in the fine print is the revelation that the purchase price of Lucasfilm isn't even included in the ROI calculation. Instead, it is purely based on the box office performance of Disney's Star Wars trilogy, its 2 spin-off movies, merchandise, DVD, and Blu-ray sales. You'll notice they just released the Mandalorian Blu-rays. Like at first, they were just going to keep everything on Disney Plus and not release Blu-rays of these original series. But since they're not making money on these series being on the streaming service, like people just watch them once and then they're done. They don't watch them again. That's what's led them to release Blu-rays of them. I see other things on Blu-ray now, like WandaVision, and I think they re-released Daredevil, and some other things. Just because this stuff is sitting on their streaming services and it's not being watched, they need people to buy these Blu-rays to generate profits. As revealed, the methodology is questionable as Disney based the ROI on the revenue generated by the movies, merchandise, DVDs, and Blu-rays rather than the profit they made, as it should have done. Using the revenue rather than the profit artificially inflates the result, as it doesn't factor in the costs that Disney had to pay out. Yeah, so they're fudging the numbers, as people will point out. Even this wasn't enough for the media giant, so it also forecast the revenue that it expected the Star Wars movies, merchandise, DVDs, and Blu-rays to generate over a 10-year period, and based the calculation on that too. In other words, Disney hasn't actually received the revenue that it used to calculate the return on its investment. In summary, despite seeming to do so, Disney's presentation doesn't actually reveal whether its Star Wars movies have covered the cost of its purchase of Lucasfilm. There may be a good reason for this. See, you can just point out, just map out all the budgets for all the movies, and then cross-reference those with the costs, the outside costs like marketing and that kind of thing, and then what they actually made in theaters total, like worldwide total, and you can come up with a rough sum of like their actual profits. Analysis of more than 800 pages of company filings has revealed that the cost of making Disney's 5 Star Wars movies hit a total of $2.1 billion, peaking at $567.3 million on The Force Awakens. However, that's just a start. That's the cost. Over $550 million for The Force Awakens. It's crazy. Mindful of this blockbuster budget, Disney devised an ingenious way to make money back on the movie. Instead of shooting it in the United States, it chose Pinewood Studios in the United Kingdom, where the original trilogy of films were made. This enabled it to benefit from the UK government's audio-visual expenditure credit, which gives studios a cash reimbursement of up to 25.5% of the money they spend in the UK, provided that it represents at least 10% of the film's total costs. At the start of this year, the UK government slightly raised the reimbursement ceiling from 25% in the face of competition from other countries which are offering similar schemes. I like the way they put that, schemes. It has helped to make the UK a dream ticket for movie makers, and according to the British Film Institute, foreign studios contributed around 77% of the $1.8 billion spent on making films in the country last year. With so much at stake, Disney didn't take any chances and got endorsement from the UK government right from the start. In 2014, Treasury Secretary George Osborne proudly announced that Pinewood would not just be home to The Force Awakens, but also its 2 sequels. This will mean more jobs and more investment, he said. It is great news for people working at Pinewood Studios, from the set designers to the carpenters. The production also had an impact farther afield. Sets featuring the iconic Millennium Falcon and X-Wing spaceships were built at a Royal Air Force base about 55 miles west of London, whilst the mountainous Lake District region in the north of England was the setting for the planet Takodana, hiding place of the sword-like lightsaber weapon belonging to Hamill's Luke Skywalker character. They write these articles as if nobody's ever watched Star Wars. Using local staff wasn't the only catch that came with the generous fiscal incentives. Movie budgets are usually a closely guarded secret, as studios tend to absorb the cost of individual pictures in their overall expenses and don't itemize how much they spent on each one. However, the costs of movies made in the UK are consolidated in single companies which file annual financial statements showing the cash reimbursement, headcount, salaries, total expenses, and more. The production companies usually have code names so that they don't raise attention when filing for permits to shoot off-site. The Disney subsidiary behind The Force Awakens is named Foodles Production, after the cafe next to the San Rafael, California headquarters of Kerner Optical, the original practical effects division of Lucasfilm's Industrial Light and Magic (VFX) firm. A condition of receiving the cash reimbursement is that the companies must be responsible for everything from pre-production to delivery of the movie and paying for services relating to the finished film. It is one of the reasons why Foodles is still booking costs on its financial statements more than 8 years after The Force Awakens was released. That's crazy. Wow. Another reason is that the companies often file the financial statements around a year after the period they cover. Yeah, but 8 years after this movie was released, they're still booking costs on financial statements. Jesus. This is why the latest results for Foodles were filed in December 2023 and are for the year ending December 31, 2022. During that period, the company spent $3.5 million, bringing the total budget for The Force Awakens to a massive $567.3 million. Jeez. Surprisingly, this isn't more than Disney expected, as the financial statements noted that at the year end, the estimated total cost was within budget. Salaries alone came to a total of $22.7 million, with staff numbers peaking at 258, without even including freelancers and self-employed workers who make up the majority of the crew. Then comes the cash reimbursement, which was a whopping $92.2 million, bringing the movie's net cost now to $475.1 million. As we revealed in Britain's Sunday Times newspaper last year, including the streaming shows, Disney has received more than $410 million in reimbursements from the UK government. No wonder Disney thanked Osborne in the credits of The Force Awakens and gave him several replica lightsabers. The second biggest budget was for 2019's The Rise of Palpatine, which cost $542.4 million to make. At the other end of the spectrum are the two Star Wars spin-offs, which were also made in the UK. Rogue One is a prequel to the first Star Wars film, while Solo, which we know lost money already, tells the original origin story of Ford's Han Solo character. Several of the Star Wars Disney Plus streaming series were also made in the UK, so their costs are known, but unlike the movies, their profit cannot be calculated. I always thought that was sus. This is because Disney Plus subscribers pay a single fee which grants them access to all of its content, making it impossible to determine how much subscription revenue is generated in specific shows. In contrast, if they had been screened at the theater, viewers would have had to pay separately to watch them all. See, that's why, the streaming services as a platform do not work. Like, they don't actually generate profits. Profit cannot be calculated. That's because there are none. Ask anybody. Geez. Theater chains typically get around half of the takings, with the remainder going to the studios. Deducting the $475.1 million net cost of The Force Awakens from Disney's share of the box office leaves a blockbuster profit of $559.6 million. This is 1.2 times its net cost, giving Disney a 1.2 times return on its investment. Its 2017 sequel, The Last Jedi, had a multiple of 1.1 times, as did the 2016 spin-off movie Rogue One. However, as the graph below shows, its net profit in dollar terms was half as much as the amount made by The Force Awakens. See, the profit, quote-unquote, profit margin kept shrinking by half until you get right here. Well, it halved first, and then that kind of, I don't know, I guess thirded. Didn't spend a total of $298.7 million. The point being, the audience shrank between those three movies. Like fewer and fewer people were going to see the movies. Rogue One, which was a tremendous gamble as it largely featured little-known actors. Although it paid off with a healthy profit, it could have been made even more, as the filings for the movie state that the final cost was higher than the agreed budget. Well, they did have to retool in between because one of the directors got let go. That's been a running theme with Kathleen Kennedy. She cannot let these directors just do what they want to do without her interfering. At the other end of the spectrum is Solo, a Star Wars story, which is Disney's only loss-making Star Wars movie. During production of the 2018 Han Solo origin picture, directors Phil Lord and Christopher Miller were replaced with Oscar winner Ron Howard, who reportedly carried out extensive reshoots, causing costs to skyrocket. Yeah, that wasn't his fault. The impact of this is revealed in the financial statements for the production company behind Solo, which say that the final cost was higher than the agreed budget. A total of $350.4 million was spent on making the movie, which also got $63.2 million of its cost reimbursed, bringing its net spending to $287.2 million. However, the movie bombed at the box office, as the takings came to just $392.9 million, leaving Disney with an estimated loss of $90.7 million. Well, I can answer you why right away. It was too close off of Last Jedi, and people were soured by that movie. Plus, nobody asked for a Han Solo origin story. Nobody asked for that. Aside from this loss, the accolade for the lowest profit and ROI multiple in Disney's Star Wars series goes to The Rise of Palpatine. Even though the financial statements reveal that its costs were below the production budget, its $112.4 million bottom line brings the total net profits from Disney's 5 Star Wars movies to $1.2 billion, which is $2.8 billion short of the purchase price of Lucasfilm. Congratulations, Disney. You screwed yourself. Bearing this in mind, it's little surprise that Disney's presentation didn't work out the return on its acquisition of Lucasfilm by using the profits of the movies, as it has still got a long way to go just to break even. Of course, the calculation above doesn't include the huge profits Disney makes on the Star Wars merchandise. They don't make as huge profits as they did before their acquisition. DVDs and Blu-rays. However, it also doesn't include the massive marketing costs of the movies, as well as the costs of the Star Wars streaming shows and theme park attractions, which also don't have revenue streams directly connected to them, as visitors get access to all the rides for the price of a single ticket. I notice they bring up theme parks and don't mention the failed what do you call it, the failed hotel that just had oh crud, what's it called? I forgot. It was the hotel they made and didn't last like more than a year, maybe a little over a year, I don't remember, but yeah, it lasted less than 2 years. This theme park attraction, it was like a hotel, the Star Wars hotel, which they themed after like the High Republic era and the sequel trilogy era. Not so much the original trilogy or anything. There was Rey, Kylo, Chewie characters, some characters that we recognize mostly from the Disney trilogy, and they wonder why it wasn't successful. Plus, the attractions inside the hotel were pretty cheap and hokey and lame. Like I've seen a lot of the videos connected to that hotel, and it was not great. It did not look appealing to me. As a Star Wars fan, I wouldn't have been happy there. And the beds, way too small for a tall guy like me. So like I would never have liked to go. Lightsaber training looked lame. There was a force attraction, like you're quote unquote using the Force to move rocks around. That also looked lame, and they're overcharging for everything, just like they do at the other parks. So it's no wonder this thing failed. Likewise, moving on, the calculation doesn't include the results of the other Lucasfilm franchises. As we recently revealed, Disney lost $134.2 million at the box office on its latest Indiana Jones movie. That's freaking sad. And Lucasfilm's streaming series based on 1988 fantasy film Willow was canceled despite the mouse pouring more than $100 million into it. That also was sad. And they pulled the thing off of the streaming service. You can't even find it. You can find bootleg Blu-rays floating around online, but that's it. And maybe on the high seas you can find it, stream it, but yeah, they pulled it completely off of Disney Plus. That's how bad it was doing. Lucasfilm also owns, that's how embarrassing it was. Lucasfilm also owns the Industrial Light and Magic visual effects division, though that is far smaller than its flagship franchises. The Star Wars movies are the jewel in Lucasfilm's crown and generate the lion's share of the revenue, which is, of course, why Disney highlighted them in the timeline in its presentation. With several Star Wars movies in the pipeline, Disney still has a chance to get its money back through their box office profits. The films have rediscovered the magic formula to appeal to fans, but aren't yet a force to be reckoned with for investors. Okay, so she ends it on a positive note, which I don't think is backed up by any evidence. The films have rediscovered the magic formula to appeal to fans. Yeah, where? Where is this evidence? We'll have to see. Wait and see. Look at the comments. This is a great article. Confirms what some have suspected for a long time. I've been hearing other streamers like Nerdrotic and Geeks and Gamers and all those guys talk about this for a while, and it's no surprise that they've fallen this behind on profits. In the interest of fairness, Lucasfilm included other properties too, which KK has subsequently killed as well. Disney took a different course with Star Wars that didn't resonate with their mainstream audience. And yeah, that wasn't even brought up in the article. And now the franchises effectively did. And a lot of people have been saying that. Some people like Star Wars Theory, they cling to hope. And I somewhat agree that we need to hope that maybe someday it'll get better, but they've kind of destroyed a lot of our favorite characters already. And just the last few years, it's kind of hard to hope for anything at this point. Maybe just hope for something new, something outside of the Skywalker line, outside of the Old Republic even, or the New Republic era. Maybe something like far, far into the future or into the past like they're doing with Dawn of the Jedi. Could be interesting. We'll see. He's saying they should get rid of Dave Filoni and Kathleen Kennedy. Frankly, this article is needlessly wordy. I noticed that. A simple 300-word explanation on the profit versus loss of the Star Wars movies compared to the purchase price for Lucasfilm would give one of the answers they are seeking. And then this guy simply says, get woke, go broke. Okay, so, yeah, maybe appeal to actual hardcore Star Wars fans that don't try to rake in a new audience that may or may not freaking follow the franchise. Maybe just stick to the people you know already like this thing. I don't know. Would have been smart. Oh well. Hindsight is 2020. Outlaws. Let's check this out. I heard about this. They released like gameplay 10 months ago, and we'll look a little bit at that. But this story trailer just came out.
Each of you represents some of the most powerful criminal organizations in the galaxy.
Now, you'll notice as he lists these criminal organizations that one of them is noticeably absent. One of them from the EU that is noticeably absent. It makes you wonder if these people actually want, know Star Wars lore.
Pikes, Crimson Dawn.
Okay, Crimson Dawn. We see Kira. That has been confirmed to be Kira in that meeting.
Pikes.
Right there. I forgot where I saw that, but yeah, that's supposed to be Kira. And there's one of the Pikes.
Crimson Dawn. Huts.
Kira, if you don't remember, is the character from Solo. I mean, I know that movie was very forgettable, but yeah, that was Solo's love interest who becomes like the leader of the Pike. Well, the leader of Crimson Dawn under Darth Maul. And I guess one day we'll get a story of her supplanting him from his throne, and then that sets up Maul showing up in Rebels, you know, all destitute on the planet by himself. Maybe we'll get that story someday in a comic or something.
It's a golden age for the underworld. The Empire controls every corner of the galaxy, but they're distracted by a rebellion that won't quit.
That line, I don't know. It was distracting to me when I first watched this. I'm like, okay, I can forgive it though, but it doesn't. I don't know. They're distracted by a rebellion that won't quit.
It's an opportunity to make millions.
Kay Vess.
Intro character Kay Vess, the underworld's favorite new scoundrel. Okay, so the actor that plays her doesn't even look like this. You look up an actual picture of her, and they changed her face for some reason. Don't know why they keep doing this.
The underworld's favorite new scoundrel. We meet at last.
What do you want?
But the men usually look exactly like this.
Zarek Besh. They're new, rich, and lethal. You crossed their boss Sliro, and now he wants you gone.
Don't know how I feel about the name Sliro.
Rob his fortune, buy your
I like that look of that droid. That's one of those droids from the Clone Wars.
buy your freedom. Buy your freedom. You gone.
Yeah, that droid. I want to know more about that droid. I want his story. Okay, I want him to be the main character. Actually, yeah. Why don't we have any of these other characters in here? The droids, a lot of times, are the most interesting characters.
Rob his fortune, buy your freedom.
This job, it's a death wish.
And we got our first, well, it's not our first nostalgia bait, but, okay, so this is set in between Empire Strikes Back and Return of the Jedi, obviously. So we'll see some other characters pop up, I'm sure.
I'm in.
Interesting looking creature.
Out here, you live and die by your reputation.
Oh yeah, this is the it's the Mon Calamari, the chain smoking Mon Calamari woman.
You want to survive.
Yeah, look. You want to survive?
I know the players.
No,
You're new to this world.
What's your problem?
Come back when you're not.
Jabba.
Okay, so she'll be traversing the underworld. We've been waiting for a game like this for a while. Back when 1313 was announced, we've been waiting for a game like this. That I was sad when that was canceled because I was looking forward to that. Playing like a bounty hunter or a scoundrel, you know, on adventures, just trying to survive the underworld. Like, it's a cool concept. I feel like they're gonna pivot with this, just like they did with the Battlefront 2 game, where you start off as an Imperial and then eventually she becomes a rebel. They're probably going to do that with this character. She's probably going to join the rebellion at some point.
Right? Look, don't
Guess who?
try anything. I got a whole crew surrounding the. Okay, we're skipping that part.
Okay, so she's not going to step on the trapdoor, I imagine, because they couldn't have a girl do that. Not when Luke did that already. See, the girl doesn't step on the trapdoor because she's smarter than Luke. All right, that's the point of this, probably.
For about as long as I can remember, it's just been me and Nix.
Oh, and I remember watching the trailer for this and thinking, okay, this is like Jedi Fallen Order, where you're by yourself, but you got this little helper following you around, getting stuff for you. So instead of a droid, though, it's like a little muskrat-looking thing.
Doing what we have to survive. This job.
Oh, I bet she kicks ass too. Watch.
To survive.
Bam! Damn, deck that guy. She work out? Because she's real skinny.
This job is my one shot at freedom.
But she's scrappy, you guys. She's like,
But if
she's spunky.
we're gonna pull this off, we need the right crew.
I like the little rat creature.
And the right ship.
See, all I want, we don't need so many human characters in these stories. Like, we could just make it about some aliens, robots. This is Star Wars, man. You can do anything.
Yes.
But we keep going back to the same kind of characters every time.
I hire you because you are one of the best hunters in the Outer Rim.
She's more
That, okay, yeah, that, people pointed this out. Why would you say she's one of the best hunters and then show her getting decked?
She's more connected than you let on, Solero. Bess is mixed up in something bigger.
Okay, so that's what suggested to me that she's going to join the rebellion at some point.
Bess is mixed up in something bigger.
Yeah, we saw the Star Destroyer.
The Rim is a dangerous place. Everyone is fighting for their piece of the galaxy. But all I want is to live free. So I'm gonna risk it all.
Oh, we haven't heard that line before. So this is supposed to be like, well, they say it's the first open world Star Wars game, but it's not. There have been others on PC. But we'll see how open world it is when it comes up.
Hold on, Nick!
Starlight Pit, Death Troopers, ATST, they're showing you everything. And Crate Dragon, come straight down.
Star Wars Outlaws, pre-order available now.
Okay, from what I've learned, just being a casual gamer is you don't pre-order anything. Don't pre-order anything. The one game I did pre-order before, I was really disappointed by. And they get you, man. This game, I think, like the base game, $70, and then there's extra things that they want you to pay for, like the Jabba stuff. Is going to be like an extra $30. So you'll end up spending like over $100 on this game if you want the full game. So yeah, it's a grift. It's a cash grab. We'll see how well it does. I just want a game about this droid. Okay, forget her, forget everything else. Okay, just this droid traversing the underworld would be cool. It would be fun. Well, what do I know? I've only been a Star Wars fan my whole life. I don't know shit. Well, that's it for today, I guess. I'll see you in the next one, Star Wars fans.
After 10,000 years, I'm free. It's time to conquer Earth.
Outlaws, Readers Escape. Recruit a team of teenagers with attitudes.
Okay, we'll call that a commercial break because I almost forgot about the gameplay. I'm gonna pull that up real quick. I've done that before. Like, I wanted to talk about something else, and then I forget, and then I just freaking end the stream. And they're like, "Oh well." That'll be just a minute. Let's see, I saw it. It was like 10 minutes long. I don't think I'm gonna go through the whole thing though. I'm just gonna like highlight some stuff. Outlaws gameplay. Let's see. Go Power Rangers. Stuck in my head. Go Power Rangers, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Work in progress. Does not represent final quality. I want to know what that is. Eating an egg. So this came out like 10 months ago, this footage.
Good boy.
I want that fighter stripped for parts by tomorrow. On it.
All right, Nix. Let's go get paid.
That's a restricted area.
What
do you mean?
He's the boss because he knows how to handle the Empire.
We cannot trust those officers. They take our credits now, but what stops them from stabbing us in the back?
A sneak thief, eh?
Nix.
She got the
hit that button.
Little dude hits buttons or attacks people.
Nice one. Hang on tight.
Those guys seriously don't hear that or see that. I wonder, like, who hit the button?
Hey, I was just leaving. Okay.
Oh, wow, she's quick on the draw. Quicker, you might say, than Han Solo.
Hey, we'll figure this out.
Oh, by the way, her outfit cries Han Solo. Like, it's the exact same outfit, pretty much.
No, I can't.
Shield.
Damn, she knocked him out through his helmet.
Hey, Nick! Catch! This is getting bad.
So all we know about this character from the trailer, the story trailer, is like she's looking to get, I don't know, this is like her last chance to be free, I guess, to on her own, I guess. I don't know. It sounds like the same kind of motivation they gave Han Solo in the Solo origin movie. There wasn't much to it. It's just like, oh, I've been living on the streets since I was little, and I just wanna live, you know, be free, travel the galaxy, and that kind of stuff. There's not much to that story. Like it's like they copy and paste it, but onto a girl. Pretty much Han Solo's story.
Let's try this out.
All we're asking is for y'all to give us something new. That's all we're asking.
Dick Ferrick. I think that went pretty well, right?
I don't know if Dank Ferrick was an exclamation that was like already in use in the Star Wars lore, or if it was invented for Mandalorian. I'll have to look that up because I don't remember it being used before Mandalorian.
Oh, these guys don't quit.
I do like riding speeder bikes.
Hang on. Outlaws. ND5, I got the package. Where are you?
I hope the graphics are a little better in the final product because this just reminds me of like PS3.
Waiting for you in Jauntus Hope. Were you seen?
I said I got it. What else matters?
Should I assume we won't be working for the Pikes anytime soon?
Well, they'll probably forgive me.
Comforting.
There's John Tess.
So it looks like you're trying to up your reputation in different syndicates, different crime organizations throughout the game. I don't know what the main goal of this game is.
Hope. We made it, Nix.
Are you trying to become a crime boss, or are you just trying to, I don't know. I don't know what the game goal is. There still wasn't much story to that story trailer. Like we get her putting together a crew and saying like, "This is my last shot," but then this other character's a bounty hunter going after her, I guess, and she says like she's mixed in with something greater, something bigger. So that's what told me that she's going to be mixed in with the rebellion. So whatever those creatures are, I guess they got some domesticated ones and wild ones on this planet.
Hey, Andy.
You're late, Kay. Doc is waiting.
What? Are you worried?
No.
Okay.
No, but you Troy.
What?
Be careful. Donka's a broker, not a friend. She can't be trusted.
Hey,
Droid. Out here.
Hey, Droid.
See you back at the ship.
See a bunch of aliens, like at least we're seeing some familiar aliens like Trandoshans, Aqualish, and shoot, what was the one that Neon Numb is? I forgot what he's called.
Round 2 and I still like my odds.
There's the chain-smoking Mon Calamari.
K-Vess. Back already. I told you she's fresh, but she's good.
Who's this?
Just a friend. Join us.
Job was more complicated than you said, Dunka.
You lived. Hey, these aren't toys. They're investments.
I wonder why they're still treating the Mon Calamari head like it's a puppet. Like you can animate it to where she actually looks at the other characters, like her eyes actually avert to the other characters. Remember, this isn't 1983 anymore.
Wait, we haven't met.
Don't really know many of you.
Stealing illegal contraband, running with syndicates. I could say you're a threat to the Empire. But I won't have to if you're smart.
Thanks, but I'm smart enough to get myself out of trouble.
You pay the tax just like everyone else.
Whoa, kid, let's just relax.
You won't make it off to Shara alive.
Maybe.
All troopers, we have reports of a fugitive in Jauntus Hope. Move to apprehend.
Okay, so what would have happened if she did try to bribe her? Would it have worked, or would she have just resulted in the same thing happening? I'm inclined to think the latter. There's a lot of times with these games that supposedly give you two different, choices, they both result in the same story beat.
The Imperial announcement wouldn't be about you, would it?
Could be.
I told you not to trust her.
Not the first time we've outrun the Empire.
Be interesting to see if it does end up with a couple of different endings like The Force Unleashed did. That was an interesting game.
We need to leave.
Yeah, no kidding.
The music sounds somewhat like Star Wars.
Are we good?
Nothing on the sensors yet.
Anybody on the sensors now?
TIE fighters on us.
Got one.
I feel inclined to remind you that we should shake the Empire quickly.
I do like shooting TIE fighters.
I'm working on it.
I don't know. The gameplay doesn't scream at me like, you must pay $70. Jedi mind trick.
ND, get us out of here.
Stealing hyperdrive.
Let's jump. We made it. Hey. Got your new toy.
So, where do we go next?
Anywhere we want.
That's what you think. With nothing but her wits and her blaster, she's going to take on the Empire and all the criminal syndicates of the Star Wars universe. Okay. I'll wait for the reviews. I'm not buying. I didn't buy the last Star Wars games that came out. Even my brother did. My brother wanted to play Jedi Fallen Order, what's the other one called? Crud. Jedi Survivor? Yeah. And I watched him play them and looked alright. I mean, the gameplay looked pretty cool. I played a little bit of it, but I got bored and I didn't like all the puzzles you had to solve. I don't like games where there's a ton of puzzles. I went back to play the old Jedi Outcast games. Is it Jedi Knight? Yeah, Jedi Knight, Jedi Outcast, and then Jedi Academy. Those are pretty fun. What I played so far is pretty fun. Of those old ones. Of course, you can get stuck on those pretty easily, too. The games back then were a little harder than they are now. And you couldn't save in as many places. Like now it just auto saves every time. Yeah, I'll wait and see. My brother will probably get this and I'll watch him play it. That's how it usually goes. He plays way more games than I do. But yeah. We'll wait and see how this goes. I think the game's getting roasted right now online. People are just, not having it. The girl bossing, the feminist stuff. Most of the characters are female, badass, and the dudes, what are they doing? Typical Disney Star Wars stuff. So I'm not totally surprised by this. I mean, this game's been in the works for a couple of years at least. These games take a while to come out. So not surprised at all. But I'm glad they're still putting out games like Jedi Fallen Order, Jedi Survivor. Then we need more Jedi games. We need more, just fun games. This could be fun. We'll see. We shall see. That's just my attitude right now with Disney Star Wars is we shall see how this does. Because I'm not really putting my hopes up too high. Because I've been disappointed too much by Disney Star Wars. And as you can see by the profits or lack thereof that Disney has gotten from Star Wars, a lot of people feel the same way as I do, or even worse. A lot of people are just done. They're checked out of Star Wars, which is sad because this was once the highest grossing IP in the world, like the most popular thing, more popular than even Lord of the Rings, even Harry Potter. Just a monumental giant of a franchise, and Disney has raked it over coals. Ugh. It's sad and it's frustrating to see. But I digress. Let me take it out with that Burger King commercial.
Whopper, Whopper, Junior, Double, Triple, Junior, Double, Whopper, 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 Junior, Double, Triple, Junior, Double, Whopper, 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 Junior, Double, Triple, Junior, Double, Whopper, Whopper, Double, Junior, Double, Triple, Junior, Double, 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 Whopper, Whopper, Double, Double, Triple, Junior, Double, Whopper.